Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode right here on Zone 69 Magazine. And today, I have the Tamutaji, the pioneer amongst the people who are really flagging. Wanasema anapepea bendera ya Luo Rap to the next level. With me today, I have Katalang. Such an interesting name. Lang, unajua tukua nikisikia like for the first time ukafia ni Lang sasa nini. And then nikapata ni Lang ya Lang. Interesting name. Hiyo name kwanza ulikama hapo jina.
Rhythmical ni rapper. So at some point actually nilikuwa I came up with Katalang. And then kuna jamaa yangu aliniambia hii jina yako ukiongeza lang as a prefix it sound fit sana to go so musical. So I gave myself this later on I became actually Lang Katalang.
So inamaanisha nini? It's just like it's just
Katalang,
one play.
Katalang ideally inamaanisha the black ant.
Kale kanumanga mse.
Yes. So when you did the prefix lang, it was just supposed to be a prefix at the beginning. But now lang in my native language inaita rende.
Group.
Rende.
Rende
black. So nikikam to solo.
Umekama na rende
kwa mbogi yangu na get. Yeah, true.
Now it makes a lot of sense. Man, we've been doing music for the longest time.
About 2007 paka saini how many years?
Oh damn, man, 18 years. Jeez. Mtu alizaliwa your time saini ako legal.
Sure.
Yeah. Mtu alizaliwa Langa kianza muziki ako legal. So how has it been, man? How has been the journey?
Music for me has been inspiring. The journey especially. Everything is a learning curve. I would say kuna vitu sijaachieve vile nataka but nimesoma a lot in the game.
Yep.
Alafu pia imenisaidia kujua what's important, what's not. But most important of all ni kwamba I've lived and I've left some legacy in the game. Nikitoka leo naweza sema kwamba I did my part in the game.
Yeah, unajua nikumbusha I was watching OG. Akisema saa ile muziki anafanya it's not all about hits. Now it's all about leaving a legacy.
Sure.
What kind of legacy is he leaving around? So is that the angle you are thinking about? Because 18 years, man, that's a long journey.
Yeah, it's not just been 18 years of music recording and performance. I've performed to a crowd of 2 people. Me perform here to 20,000. You know the difference. Actually, I've done videos. I have worked with people. I've done collabos both national internationally. Alafu pia mimi ni mtu ambaye nimechukua time yangu pia kunaacha wasanii wengine. So in as much as Katalang might not be active in the game sometimes, kuna zile products zangu kwa game ambazo at least zinaonekana tunasema kwamba I'm happy to wake up and listen to some of my brands
and to be part of those brands. So the transition ulianzia Kisumu, now you transition to Nairobi. Na walikuwa wanasema Nairobi is like a land of opportunities. But you're not afraid of naenda Nairobi, I don't know anybody, I don't know where to go and start, but I'm just going to make music.
For Nairobi sidhani kama ni si muziki nileta Nairobi.
Okay.
You know, my story is a little bit different because I started music way back in high school. Pale Uriri Boys High School, kunaita Spas. So after really, I think it was Form 2. I wrote my first song in Form 2.
Okay.
During the post-election violence. After Form 2, later on after kumaliza high school, I think I tried out. That is the first time I came to Nairobi. My first studio kuingia Nairobi ilikuwa Gopa DJs. Pale kwa kina Jago and stuff.
Big shout to
But
Lucas.
unfortunately sikuwa naweza ku afford.
Okay.
So I took my bags nikarudi Shags. Nikasema I'll try again another time. Mimi ni yule mtu I never give up. Nikachukua bags zangu nikarudi mtaa yangu. And then later on sasa I had to join Campo Maseno University. Hapo ndio sasa nikaanza kukutana new fans. Unajua you meet a group of people from different parts of the country. And then you start over again. So I think that hapo ndio sasa nikakuwa Lang Katalang, the guy that you're seeing right here, because mimi nimetengenezwa na mafans wangu wa Campo.
True.
They gave me a platform and I think I used it well. Except for siasa kidogo ya muziki hapa na pale.
So your songs or your music, you fuse both Swahili, hip hop in it, genge, and of course Luo Rap. So what inspires you to blend these genres? Because angekuwa msemo mmoja angesema let me just stick to Luo Rap and I'm done with that.
I would say it's more of a revelation. Actually things have changed. I think nilianza na hip hop. just Swahili hip hop.
Layback, boom bap.
Yeah, layback, 808, unaelewa.
Yeah.
Nikatoka kwa hip hop nikaingia kwa genge. So from genge I think I went back to hip hop, Swahili hip hop, and then now nikamwacha sasa ni focus kwa Luo Rap. Sure. With Luo Rap actually ilikuja very funnily because there was this mix up na mshike kati yangu na wasanii fulani.
Yep.
I don't know whether it was VXC and Japesa at some point. So no one knew that I would actually get into Luo Rap, and especially nifanye trap.
Okay.
So when I did Luo Rap God, I think kuna wasanii walienda chini ya maji, walipotea kidogo. Naomba warudi.
So it was a response, like kuna waswali kudis, and then you're
to
like...
them it was a diss track, but to me it was sort of me getting to do something new that I'd never done before. Ushaiji challenge.
Yep.
So with Luo Rap God niliji challenge, nikajiambia if I've never done this thing, then for the first time let me now put my thoughts in it.
And it was good on you kasema now this is my style.
Kind of ilinipatia respect yenye sikuwa nayo. Imagine doing genge and hip hop for all that time, and then all of a sudden watu wanakusikia new sound. So I think it gave me the leverage to actually do whatever I want with my craft. Exactly.
So Luo Rap of late imekuwa like a rising genre when it comes to hip hop in Kenya. We had Shrap a time back, tukakuwa na Iya Sheng again, but now you've been in the game, you've seen it ikizaliwa. Now it's growing.
Sure.
So for those who don't understand what Luo Rap is, what can you say about Luo Rap, its evolution, where it's heading? Is it like a genre we should keep our eyes on, ama ni one of the waves zitakuja tu then all of a sudden tena zipotee?
First of all, Luo Rap is an urban genre, number one. So we're fusing urban and a bit of culture, because me being a Luo doesn't qualify me to be a Luo rapper, but me celebrating the Luo culture with my rap, now that is what makes me a Luo rapper. You understand? So ours is to celebrate the Luo culture in a way that we can actually either elevate the Luo community to the urban fans who actually do not have interest in knowing the Luo language. You get it?
Yeah.
So that is basically the idea. But then again, hip hop has been there since time memorial. We're only trying to give credit to the Luo language and using it in rap, so that at the end of the day we can also enjoy our own rap. Now that is what we call owning rap within our own dialect.
Yeah,
sure.
So I was watching an interview of Luo Boy, and he threw some shade akasema Luo rappers are lazy. How true is that?
Should I deny or should I agree with that?
I don't know. Are Luo rappers lazy?
I respect Luo Boy. Luo Boy ni boy wangu. And I think from all perspectives, I think is my senior in terms of graphics. I was looking up upon. Alafu pia ukirudi kwa Luo Rap, anaweza sema bado ndo chairman, anajiita chairman wa Luo Rap, which I do not actually disapprove. Number one is that we are not lazy. We are having a genre that ilianza kitambo, at some point ikapotea. Alafu tunajaribu tena kuifanya
revive. It's like bringing it
because,
back.
For those who do not know, Luo Rap ilianza na enzi za kina Poxy Pressure. Back in the day,
RIP to the legend,
Pressure, you remember? Na if you can remember the likes of kina Poxy Pressure, back then mziki ilikuwa na siasa hata kushinda sahi. And then came Wiki Mosh. You getting that evolution?
Wiki Mosh, yeah.
So with Poxy Pressure ilikuwa na issues zake za na MCSK back in the day, and I think part of that kama ili contribute to his death, because there was a lot of politics back in the day.
Yeah,
you understand. And then it came to Wiki Mosh, ambaye pia alipata accident kwa barabara na akagenya. When Wiki Mosh died, that was Luo Rap that died. Sijui kuna nipata.
Yeah.
After Wiki Mosh tukapata Big Pin, the Luo Rap king. You remember back in the day wakati alikuwa naimba na kina Isa,
Gidi Majimaji.
Kina Gidi Majimaji. You get that point. So back then Luo Rap imekuwa na hiyo flow yote mpaka sahi. So with us, we are the new kids on the block who are Luo Rap. We're doing a longevity or a continuation of what kina Big Pin, kina Pox Pressure used to do. Sijui kuna get. Now the only challenge that we're having right now is that we are not lazy, like he's saying. Ni ile tu mwanya ndio haijapatikana, mwanya ya kutaka kuhold the genre. Sijui kuna nipata. Because right now music and culture go together. You understand? When the government wants to put some money, you get?
Yeah.
on matters of art and culture.
Yeah.
What happens? They look for popular genres and then they work with. I'll give you for example. Uliona juzi tulikuwa na national holiday Homa Bay.
Was it Madaraka Day? Yeah.
It was Madaraka Day.
Yeah.
How many Luo rappers do you know?
I know of you. I know of Vioxy.
Pesa.
I know of Japesa. Luo
Nick
Boy.
Awesome. Luo Boy.
Yep.
And natuko wengi sana.
Yeah.
Unanisikia? But how many were on that stage? Probably one if not zero.
Are there any on the stage though?
Ya kulikuwa na mmoja, I understand. But huyu ni mmoja ambaye pia ni mtu wa ndani. CEO ni mtu wa ndani. Yeah, anaelewa the corridors of PPMC. So the reason why I'm bringing that issue is because you cannot exist as a genre without being recognized on the biggest stage. Had PPMC decided to say, okay, we know there's Luo Rap somewhere, let us give them a chance to audition as Luo Rap.
So they'll be part of the celebration.
So they'll be part of the celebration for one, elevating that genre kama Luo Rap, and number two, giving them a chance on the biggest stage. You understand?
Yeah.
I think it could be because either we haven't had that interaction with PPMC. You know, they're not angels to know whether Luo Rap exists or not.
You have to sell it to them.
We have to sell it to them.
Yeah.
In the process of trying to sell Luo Rap to the world, we also need the mainstream media to come through for us. You understand? I'd wish to laud certain radio presenters, and one of them is Kasuku of Radio Ramogi. I want to say it right here. Okay. He's one guy who has single-handedly raised Luo Rap. Nimtakisikia tu kuna msanii yote kuna Luo Rap. My friend Yongome itachezwa. But you see, we don't only depend on one media outfit.
It should be
that it is only Mzuka Kibao that interviews Luo Rap artists to put them on the map. It is only Kasuku of Radio Ramogi that interviews the Luo rappers to put on the map. We need everybody on board, so that we are all inclusive in trying to build what you call this genre.
The same discussion.
That is my take.
Yeah, the same discussion Tina Ado was. I always love to refer to it. She was saying, like, you realize the international market, they have more knowledge, more understanding of our own music, more than us. True. Because you see a genre like Ohangla, a genre like Afro Benga, you know, even Benga itself, those guys, they get more international like performances as compared to how they do it here in Kenya. So are we not accepting our own as the consumers of Kenya? We are letting international people to consume our own, or we are just not like feeling the vibe?
It's not about feeling the vibe. I believe that Kenyans feed on popular music. The music that Kenyans listen to is the music that you feed them. Whatever you play on radio, whatever you play on matatus, whatever you play on the streets, that is what Kenyans get to embrace.
Whatever they see on TikTok, whatever they see on Instagram.
Yes, exactly. So I think from our side, we just need to have a system whereby the stakeholders within the music industry take their time and say, okay, this time round, we have been able to support Ohangla, we've been able to support Rumba and the rest, Benga, R&B Swahili. We've been able to support, Afro Benga. At this time round, let us take our energy and put it on Luo Rap, and then they see if it is something that will not work. Because I want to tell you something. Some of the biggest hits in this country have been Luo Rap. If you look at what Dr. Pizzo did with was it Vicmas Luodola? It was one of the biggest songs in this region. If you look at Unbogeable by Gidi Gidi and Majimaji, the biggest. If you look at Atoti by Wikimosh,
Japesa with the OG.
With the OG.
What was that song? The one with,
when Big Pin did Big Pin, I yang to the beat.
Luo Rap King.
You get the Luo Rap King. At that point, those songs, anything that is done in Luo is so big.
Even if you don't understand.
So the problem is the stakeholders within the game have decided to, put Luo Rap under the carpet. I don't even know the reasons why, but it is not that we are lazy. Luo rappers are in studio every other day. What we need is this, we need video directors to sit down and say, this is the percentage of attention that we are going to give to Luo Rap. Mainstream media stakeholders should be able to tell us that, Luo Rap, what do you guys have for us in the game? Because I know producers like Vince on the Beat.
Big shout to Vince on the Beat.
A lot is happening. If you ask Vince on the Beat right now, in his head, he has a roadmap on how he wants Luo Rap to look like. That is among many other producers that I know in this country. If you look at Simon the Beat, you get, and other producers in this country, they're seated somewhere in a corner thinking on how to make Luo Rap become a big genre. Back to the shelves where it used to be. Because there are guys who took us out of the shelves. Kuna watu walitoa Luo Rap pale kwa shelf wakaeka bongo R&B, walitoa Luo Rap wakaweka pengine Ohangla, and then there are also artists who are not probably ready to embrace back Luo Rap.
Is it the name? Because when you hear of Luo Rap, the first thing that will come in mind is it's for Luos.
Somehow yes, but then again, remember, stakeholders fight for what they feel is either their vibe or what makes money for them. You get to understand.
I get it.
We've always tried to also work with county governments from down, from Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, to get to know whether county governments can actually embrace Luo Rap, so that as they work on other genres of music within their docket,
They should include also.
we also include Luo Rap. Personally, as an MC and as an event organizer, someone who has worked with both Kisumu County and Migori County and even Homa Bay County at some point on certain events, I've always encouraged that anytime we have a gig, at least we bring in a few artists from the Luo Rap. Though not all of them can be brought on the same stage.
But if you have one or two, it will show signs that they're being recognized, and others will work even more harder to be like on the same stage as the previous ones.
Actually, you're right, Billy, because music is not what we listen to on the street. Music is more of a boardroom affair. For us to make Luo Rap become a very visible genre right now, we have to get into the boardroom. There's very little to do with the studio. Studio picking in 20%,
but the 80% is
boardroom affair. Because it's all about music production. It's all about music promotion. It's all about sitting down with stakeholders, both government and non-governmental, to get to know how to push the brand and how to use Luo Rap also to push other agendas. It could be peace, could be HIV, could be GBV,
anything.
Could be anything that needs to do what?
Mandamano
need to sell. Anti-mandamano, not mandamano.
Oh, anti-mandamano. So what's the future like for Luo Rap? If you are to predict in 5 years, in like 10 years, how, like, where do you see Luo Rap?
Mimi nimezungukia hii kitu.
I
feel like kuizungukia ndio itakuwa fit, because we have tried all other avenues na ni kama kidogo inaleta shida. And one thing I would also wish to tell our rappers, fellow rappers kama mimi, ni kwamba tumepita ile time ya kuimba vitu ambazo hazi make sense. We know what our fans need, but then again, it's not about being cool and sticking to probably one particular class of people. Like if I want to entertain the youth, it's just the youth alone. When I'm writing the music, at the back of my mind, I know this music will be listened to by at least a section of the elderly, a section of the women,
the young people,
the
children, and
children.
everybody.
So I just want to encourage Luo rappers that whenever they write, stop cussing, number one, because we intend to make money using our craft.
Yeah, but that's the authenticity of rap. Like
you don't have to cuss.
Or you can as well as pass.
You can pass a message without necessarily cussing, because not everything that is cool to you is cool to someone else. You understand? I've been to some of these boardrooms, and if you listen to the way they are talking about rappers out here, you'll wonder. That is the reason why most rappers, they end up getting depressed, because they don't get gigs. You know why they don't get gigs? Because they sing along to lyrics that actually do not match the expectation of
or the brand,
either the corporate or the organization or government. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So rappers mwache kukas.
Ndio, ni kweli. Yeah.
But if that's your authentic way, man, I don't know.
Sure. If you want to make some real money from rap, wachana kukas. Go down, ingia kwa community yako, look for what's most viable. If it's about fishing, rap was about fishing. You get. Rap was about environment. Rap was about disease control.
Struggles in
As
society.
I sit here, I am the ambassador for neglected tropical diseases. That is under the Ministry of Health. You cannot sit in such a sensitive ambassadorial position if you're singing something that does not appeal to the people.
True.
Because definitely you'll have to pass through some scrutiny. And when they realize that you're just an artist who wants to make people feel the vibe and not actually pass a message to community, then you're off the hook.
You're off the hook. So there was a time, like a few years back, I'll say like Luo Rap is growing, and you should be together. Everybody should be together. But there was a time like there was beefs in between like the Luo rappers themselves. I remember one of the most legendary one was between Voxided and Japesa, like to do with the song and everybody. So it was like, it's a young genre, it's growing. We should be holding each other's hand, but yet we are out here trying to fight each other. So like, do artists really, rappers especially, do they need beef like for them to grow, or is just let's work together for the sake of the genre?
I would say if rappers sit down and agree that it is beef that they're going to work on, then it is good for both the genre and their craft. The reason I'm saying that is because sometimes you might think that we are beefing, kumbe ni ukweli. Wewe umechukua kitu kama ni it's a commercial sort of a drama, lakini kuna mtu amechukua serious. You understand?
So in short tunasema kuna beefs aina mbili. Yeah, we have one that it's real. Me, I hate you.
We have people just hate
I hate you.
Yeah, for what to do.
But we have another one which we sit down, we're like, bruh.
Then tunatengeneza kitu.
Yeah, you diss me, I diss you.
Diss you and
okay.
Works. Okay. Exactly. But anyway, I think tumeachana na hiyo part ya kuhate one another. Right now unaweza pata Luo rappers kama 10, especially in Nairobi city. It doesn't take a month kabla tukae sisi wote tujue strategy itakuwa ni gani. Wewe na wewe mtakolabo in a particular song. Wewe na wewe you go get something else done. And then you we are going to promote whatever you have currently.
You have already, okay.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. That's nice. So as we are winding up, I know you're doing a lot. MCing, you are up and down. Siasa kidogo hapa kule. Anakanga mheshimiwa by the way. So like that, how are you able to balance all this? Alafu na adding your core business, which is music. How are you able to balance MCing, up and down, running hapa kule, now adding the aspect of music also?
One thing I know that you grow from one thing to the other, and then kuna kitu inaitwa you cannot uwezi there's something in my language which ni okinyal tuo kumiluo korea, yani you don't dry up where you bathe. You get my point? In short, utakuwa in your comfort zone. So I'm one guy who doesn't get into his comfort zone. I try a lot of things. Sometimes unapata niko into building and construction supplies. I'm into printing. I'm into music performance. And most times I'm an MC, especially for organizations. And perhaps I'm just a politics fanatic. So wizi nikosa kwa siasa pia. Though najua pia siasa kidogo imenikosta career yangu ya muziki, lakini pia you cannot deter me from having political friends. Because the future, there's politics in everything. So nikisema hapa 10 bila break haimaanishi tukue maadui just because ulienda kukimbia kwa barabara. Wewe umeamua kukimbia, mimi nimeamua 10 bila break. It's validly I'm allowed.
Ukisema one time pia doesn't mean
wewe sema one time yako, mimi niseme 10 bila break because mimi najua tuko sure na 10 bila break yetu. Sijiko na get. Wewe one time yako ni ile ya woga. Unaisema kama umeingiza kichwa chini ya mattress, because the truth is Rais anafanya kazi. Sorry to say it here. Rais William Ruto anafanya kazi. You knew that you're going to sell a narrative of the president not working, but now the president is overworking. So your one-term narrative is actually not adding up. So you have to force issues
to come out of
yes. But now what I'm doing as an artist is that I'm adding my voice into the political environment, whereby I'm also trying to encourage the youth that in as much as they want to hold the government accountable, let us do it responsibly. Mimi nikigrow up nilikuwa naambiwa, unajua mimi ni millennial, mimi si Gen Z. Nilikuwa naambiwa in as much as you want your freedom yako lazima kuja na responsibility. Which role are you playing? Kumekio ya kwamba the government is held accountable. You cannot play the role of being a hooligan, ama kwenda kuchoma vitu za watu, ama kwenda kupora mali za watu, alafu anza kusema eti unajua ni lazima Ruto ajue sisi ni kina nani. That one you're becoming unlawfully unaona
destructive.
Unaget. So as an artist, everything that I'm doing them both as an artist. Nikiuza building and construction material, bado natumia art yangu kuuza. The leverage I have is that I use my creativity to sell a product. When I get, when I'm doing printing, I'm using my creativity in art to sell up, because my background, people don't understand Katalang. My background is art. Then art comes automatically with the marketing strategies. Anything that is done by an artist, hata unapata kuna unga unaikula, lakini ukiona kuna Katalang ameenda kakaa karibu na hiyo unga, sasa utaikula zaidi kwa sababu inakupea motisha fulani ya kuikula. Umeona boy wako hapo kwa karibu na unga, ama una dem fulani mrembo karibu na mafuta ya kupaka. Let me use that example. That is even better off.
Don't shine.
Unagari?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, my background is in art. Me, I'm a drama and theater studies major.
Yeah.
Maseno University. Second class upper division. Tulichapa kitabu kidogo. So we are trying to implement that.
What will
background
went in school for?
Exactly. And not necessarily that. Ile sasa iliongeza tu talent ya kitambo.
Yeah.
So tuko na basic idea of how to go about art. Yeah. Right now tukitaka Luo Rap ishine kwa ground, inamaanisha we have to follow every other protocol. Tukisikia kwamba kuna avenue fulani serikali imetoa pesa fulani ya kuinject, tuko hapo. Yeah. Una get. And you never know, by the way. Kesho usikie Katalang amekuwa senator wa Migori vile alikuwa anatafuta senator. What am I going to start with? It's art I'm going to start with. Wasanii wanasemaje? Una get. Wanataka wafanyiwe nini?
True.
Because the voice of the artist, ukiongeza the voice of the politician, ukiongeza the voice of the clergy, society imeisha. Kuna story hapo.
That's a society in general. Yeah. So does music pay?
Music, yes, music pays.
Or you must have other things around for you to...
That is the exact answer. For me, I have to have a couple of things that I do, so that at the end of the day, I don't cry for all of music not paying. Because music does not pay immediately. Because music has what we call streams. Your music has to be popular for it to be streamed, for you to earn royalties at the end of the day. Yeah. It takes some time, but the artists who are earning almost every month at least work on royalties. And then what I would say is that with music, you have to be patient. As you're patient, you have to get other things to do. Yeah. The difference is, I will be patient with myself, get into other things. While wewe ukienda urekodi ngoma yako moja
mbili
tatu, umeenda kuvuta bangi yako. Sijasema ni mbaya, lakini kuvuta bangi mingi pia si poa. Umeenda kukunywa ng'ango yako. Sikuona ni get. Yeah. Si mbaya kukunywa ng'ango. But don't do it to the extent kwa sababu you feeling cool that sasa lazima uko ile mlevi kabisa ndio tujue uko. Wewe ni rap. Una get?
Yeah, true.
Rappers ambao wanajua kitu wanafanya kwa game ni rapper. Unaweza mpata kwa boardroom akidiscuss business idea na msiendo ujue kweli
it's not all about music. Smoke weed,
you smoke weed, get cool. Hapana, madem hizo ni vitu ziko. Unasikia? Because wewe utatuimbia vile wewe ugonga madem. Unaona vile wewe have matrisa,
vile ni mkali.
Unasikia?
By the end of the day, what are you going back home?
Mimi niende niimbe vile wasa wanafaa kutumia contraceptives na makondom, na niende kwa organization na nipatie gig na nipige na ni ando yangu fiti niepe depression. Una get? So rap is actually something totally different. It is the key. It is not actually the actual craft. Rap inakufungulia milango.
So ukiingia kwa room, what are you going to do? Now that's the question.
Now that is why you need to equip yourself with almost everything that you require to exist and not to exit a boardroom. Wanna get? I've been to boardrooms, inclusive with governors. Kitu imenibaki ni state house peke yake sijaingia.
Very soon.
But rap imenipeleka almost everywhere else. As a rapper, not anything else. Huyu ni Katalang kwa sababu ni rapper.
As a rapper.
Wanna get?
So that's your first identity.
Additional to being a rapper, sasa ndo napewa na kuja napata kumbe naweza MC. Siko na get.
But rap first.
Apart from MC, niko na knowledge fulani kumbe hata naweza andika proposal.
Yeah.
But rap ndio kwa?
Ya kwanza.
So nilina nikajibrand, nikajua kwamba naweza kuwa rapper. Lakini rap yangu si ya kukatia mademu na kuvuta shisha na vitu kama hizo. Yes, that I can do it.
Yeah.
But I have to take my time and do reasonable things for society. Kwa sababu kuna watu pia wanangoja kuona na huyu jamaa kama yeye ndio anaongoza, atafanya vitu fiti ndio hata si tufuate hiyo mrengo. Una get?
True.
Yes.
Now you've been in the game not just as a rapper, but you have seen the industry itself like for 18 years, man.
Sure.
Kutoka 2007 hadi sasa hivi tumekuwa na lot of evolution. So nini unaweza sema about the industry in Kenya in general, as like the music industry itself?
Music industry ya Kenya, number 1, city ni mali rahisi kuexist. Number 2, itafika point utachoka. It will depend on what actually imekuenergize ukuje back to the game.
Yeah.
Umeona wasanii wamekuja wakapotea.
Wengi
Tulikuwa na wasanii kama kina Nai Boy. Sasa hivi unawasikia kwa sababu game imechange. Au pia kwa sababu walipotea kidogo. Number 2, it is because they didn't find other things to do. They keep afloat kwa game. But I'm very sure somewhere within his circle anapanga kurudi in a big way. Una get? Kuna wasanii kama kina like the other day nilienda Visita kidogo na Lia. Ni boy wangu, yes, unaona. But I think Visita na Lia because at the end of the day tunamjua kama producer. Hatumjui kama kitu kingine tofauti. Jeff Katalang, you will kill my MC career but kwa stage nikirap. You will kill my rap career utanipata kwa stage ya wanasiasa nikipiga siasa yangu. Sijiko na get.
Yeah.
I'm about to just get back to the printing business and niendelee kwa printer. I'm a building and construction supplier. So muziki ya Kenya imekuwa ni ile ukienda down na you don't have an alternative, even ndio umeenda. Una get?
Yeah.
And then I want to describe for you how the Kenyan music business goes. Una get?
Yeah.
When you know too much, hautaingizwa kwa system. The system will always try to, inakutapika. Because you know too much. The industry ya Kenya sana the music industry ya Kenya ni ya watu ambao wanajifanya mafala, hawajui kitu. Because somebody will let you record, perform, umpatie kitu umefanya, alafu the rest of the issues ataki ujue. Because atachukua ngoma yako, number 1 yake kwa distribution. Unasikia wewe ujui kama hii distribution inafanyika. By the time you realize ngoma yako imemekia msee mita, wewe umebaki hapo umekaa. You'll end up signing documents that you don't even understand. Mazee kuja sign mazee, si ulishafanya ngoma, wewe kuja hapa, weka hapa, wewe sign, alafu kisha sign wewe utapata percentage yako 20%. You don't know what that 20% is all about. Ukisign 20% ya streaming platforms, ukose kusign 20% ya skiza, nada kule skiza yote.
Sini mwenye amekutu sign.
Exactly.
So you have to know what you're signing.
So as an artist you have to be knowledgeable. You have to know what you're signing. That is sometimes wanasemanga kuwa na wakili hata si lazima umlipe. Everybody has that one lawyer ambaye ni best yao. Wanakunywa naye. Lakini hata juu lawyer anaweza msaidiaje. When you have a document, scan that document na macho. Scan it twice. If you don't understand it, give it to your lawyer.
Mtumia bro nisaidie
kuperuse. Na anybody ambaye anakuambia eti uanze kusign vitu haraka, that is not a friend. Ni mtu ako malicious. Anataka uanze kusign vitu zenye hauelewi, ndio kesho ukianza kulia, yeye ndio wa kwanza anatoa document. Unajua?
Alisign ndio hiyo.
Sijiko na get.
Yeah.
Music label is a hit for about 2 years or 3 years. That is enough to be over $1 billion nakwambia sahi. Because there are people who know how to they hold the industry captive. You know how it happens? Anachukua ma media presenters wote anaweka kwa mfuko yake.
Ma DJs, ma
promoters kwa mfuko yake. Mat zote kwa mfuko
yake. He knows everybody.
Anajua kwenda ma corners. By the time you realize hiyo label anaacha kama yeye ametoka kama ni billionaire. Unajua kwa nini? As you focus on the rap, kuna mtu ana focus on the tunes, on the money.
Uko studio busy.
Exactly.
Satengeneza money out of it.
So that is why Katalang nikiwa off studio, I'm somewhere researching. Hii game tunaweza maneuver aje, because as you move very slowly, kuna mtu ana move so fast. Na mtu ana move so fast, hana talent, hana kitu.
He's just smart.
Very smart. So Nairobi is for the smart people. Music promoters in Nairobi are so smart. Achana na watu watakupeleka sijui ndio perform wapi upate do yako ya gig. There's a lot of money in the digital music era.
Wasanii mmesikia, there is a lot of money in the digital music era.
Unasikia?
And that's lifetime money.
Lifetime money.
Your kids, your grandkids, everybody.
Watu watakula hiyo muziki mpaka ushangae kwani kunaendaje. There's a day I sat down with some artists and nikamuuliza, "Wewe nasikia sauti yako kwa jingle fulani ya program fulani ya TV. Ulilipwa?" Then he was like, "Kwani watu ulipwa?" What the hell? You are not even given a contract to sign. Sauti yako naisikia kwa TV lakini haujui kama ulilipwa ama haukulipwa. It means
and you can never claim. You shaenda hivyo.
There is no mainstream TV station in this country that does not have what to call the legal backing. Anything that is done on TV, the lawyers must ensure kwamba hili lipo, hii haikulipwa, hili iko inventory. You can get. So that money ililipwa, lakini kuna few guys kwa system ambao wanajua kweli fulani walienda kupiga dimanga. You get the point?
You know, nafanya a lot of artists, they are poor.
Yes.
And a lot of them they give up on music.
They give up on music. You know why? It is because kuna wajuaji kwa game ambao hataki kuambia watu wengine ukweli. Ya kwamba unajua muziki yako nikitoa part A naipeleka part B naipeleka part C. Secondly kuna wasanii wajuaji. Mimi nimemanage wasanii. Unaambia msanii hii ndio direction ya kufollow,
nakwambia hujui kitu,
anaona kama pengine unataka kummangia au hujui kitu. Ulikuwa umetoka naye from point A to point B, anatafuta mtu anatoka naye from point B to point C, disregarding the fact that wewe ulianza na yeye. Unaona, kummangia lazima utammangia, but based on percentage. But huyu jamaa tushamaliza naye, acha nimtoke niende kwa the next guy.
Alafu kiharibika,
anytime you move from point A to point B ukipanda, ujue the higher you go the worse it becomes, kwa sababu unakutana mahangre cartels huko mbaya sana. Muziki kuna cartels.
Hapa chini ni cartels wadogo.
Yes.
Hapa katikati medium. Now when you go up we have now the bigger cartels.
The bigger cartels
who are earning millions every month.
Those what you call plug and play. Kuna kitu watu wajui kwa dunia in this country ya kwamba muziki inafanywa plug and play. You as billionaires are uproot kutoka kwa mainstream na ni kutoa nje ya playlist kabisa. That's what unasikia. Kuna msanii tulimsikia the whole of last year, sasa yeye yuko tunasikia
and yet they're releasing music.
Yes, na hiyo mchezo tunajua kuifanya kwa sababu nani what to do. Sasa hizi nasikia mpaka kuna TikTokers. Kuna TikTokers mpaka wakaambiwa shut down, waambie muziki za Katalang tutaki kusikia mkizifanya challenge. My friend, hautaona zikifanywa challenge.
No matter how much you pay them.
No matter how much you pay them. Hiyo ngoma
they always come up with a figure that you can't afford.
Exactly. They tell you unajua mazejo sasa tunapiga mboka huu msee na huyu jamaa ametupia kitu
tunaona. Acha tukimaliza na huu msee tutakutafuta.
By the time unakutafuta sio kwa matango mengine.
Oh shit. I never looked at it that way.
Unaget?
Yeah. So artists, you should learn music business. True. Learn to maneuver the industry.
Yes. Secondly, artists know how to, I don't know what's wrong with the artist. Unasikia uko social media mtu anakuambia tu boy bro achana na siasa. I want to give you an example. Nisiti ni kwa marengo ama nini. I'm broke, I'm seated somewhere in my living room. Unasikia haujui mali unaenda kutoa do. And then someone pops up with an idea, bro. Kuna program fulani pale ya governor. Wewe unaonaje kama tunaweza kufanya jingle tupate kitu? Hiyo program ya governor unaenda una approach the right people, wanakupatia gig, unapiga hiyo jingle, just a jingle less than 30 seconds.
A few thousands.
30 G's umeingiza kwa mfuko yako.
A few thousands here and there.
But kuna mtu ameenda akaperembwa kile akaambia unajua governor afanye job.
Ako UDA. Ako ODM, ako
independent. Yeye anakuambia governor afanye job, acha kurelate na umse. Mimi kama ni governor na niko na kitu nataka kwa governor, I'll approach the right people. Kwa mrengo ya governor na nipate hiyo kitu through my own music. Unaona? Through being an MC. You have to find all these dockets unaona zimeletwa kwa county governments. We need a devolution. Music inclusive pia imekuwa devolved. Kama ujui. Because kuna departments ambazo zinataka hiyo muziki yako. Unaona? There's a department known as special programs kwa county government. Kama hauna siri sana nimekupea siri. Hapo muziki yako inatakikana. Kuna department of sports and youth affairs na the
artists wote, sportsman, nini, everybody.
Department of education nataka hiyo sana yako. Department of transport ukitaka kuelimisha watu vile wanafaa kuendesha vitu zao kwa barabara na kufanya nini, road signs and stuff, niambie kama hahitaji msanii.
It needs.
Enda kwa department of labor. Hahitaji wasanii.
It needs.
So it is the artist that does not know where they should come in ama where they should put in their energy. It is not just about going to the studio, recording your music, alafu chukue ngoma yako weke YouTube. Okay, that is good. Tutapata muziki yako. What next after that? Personally, as an artist, I've found myself in environments where you attend meetings on behalf of your own county government. You're paid just like any other expert anaweza lipwa as a musician. Because number one is that after learning that you can be a musician, now you keep learning.
More and more.
Do we nane na that the trends. That is what I would say.
Man, that was an eye opener. Yeah. True. So what next for you? An album, an EP, singles?
Currently I would say sijui kama ilikuwa nafani sema ama ilikuwa ikuja kama surprise.
Iko nini?
Acha tu niseme Other than my political gimmicks here and there, other than my MC job na kazi zangu zingine, I think it's high time I give these people an album. And we're working on something. Saizi tuko na studio mpya in town. Sijui kama inaitwa Anyiko Studio.
There's a new studio in town.
We are working on an album, by the way. And I'm hoping that by August hii album itakuwa imetoka. Me what I would say is that kama wewe ni msanii pale nje na unajiamini ya kwamba unaweza imba, you're a new artist, kindly reach out to Lang Katalang. Also if you're an established artist na ungependa kujump on this album, because you never know, we tushikane.
We see where this goes.
Tushikane tuone vile tunaweza fanya nini. Tunaweza beba hii gurudumu letu la muziki mbele. Otherwise as I pen out, I don't know that this is the pen out. Yeah. Ningependa pia kushukuru kuna wale wanaoitwa marafiki wa Lang Katalang. Kuna mashabiki
na kuna
marafiki. Kila msanii ako na marafiki na mashabiki. Wanasikia. I'd wish to thank of course the entire team at Muziki Kibao TV led by DJ Wandiga, of course. Watu kama kina Billy hapa. And on the larger side kuna wale marafiki zangu kisiasa, watu kama PS Dr. Raymond Molo pamoja na Mama Dorothy Otieno anaitwa Mindrongo ambaye pia tunatarajia kwa atakuwa the next MP for Rongo constituency. The reason I'm now big up ni kwa sababu hao ni marafiki wamefanya mimi pia gurudumu langu la Lang Katalang lazima liendelee kufanya nini?
To be where you are.
Yes, to get where I am right now. So now big up sana every other person yule ambaye anani watch save from home. Unajua kumbuka kwamba wewe ni a big fan of Muziki Kibao TV, a big fan of Zone 69 magazine, wherever you are, as being a supportive audience to this. Nasema asante sana na Mungu akubariki.
So your social media, your DSPs, msakita kusikiliza.
I think mimi ukitaka kunitafuta ni rahisi sana. Just look for Lang Katalang, LANG space LANG on almost every platform. Facebook niko na accounts nyingi, so angalia ile ambayo at least nimepost hivi majuzi. On X the same Lang_Katalang. On IG ni Lang Katalang. I don't know what's up, ni namba yangu tu ya kawaida. Na time madai moto kwa namba yangu.
That's how we sign out. Thank you so much for watching, Manza. Make sure that you subscribe, like, share, comment, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Boop, boop.